Will it? Okay, coming to the stage right now. I think this is your first time on this stage here. So please give a warm rounding third welcome to SupaDave's.
Thank you very much. I was kind of hoping that last guy would suck. So, this is a little bit intimidating. This is my very first time ever doing stand-up. So, thank you. So I tried going and coming up with an opener, and just let me know what you think of this one, okay? So, what's the deal with airplane food? What about those Asian tourists? Okay, fuck that Rita Rudner guy to stand up. So anyway, yeah, like I said, coming up with material is pretty hard. You know, unless you're Carlos Mencia, then that shit is really easy. You know, it's just like, so what did Dave Chappelle do last night? All right, yeah, no, white people do that. All right, well I had Mexican in front of it, and that was mine. Yeah, today I'm actually doing stand-up because I'm trying to do this as part of a bucket list. Not that I'm dying or anything, but I'm going to be turning 30 next year. And I tried to do all this shit. Thank you. So, trying to do all this shit that I think you should get away with in your 20s. And so, first thing I did was I actually went and smoked pot. Yeah, go pot. So, and it's one of those I made my entire life, never smoked a single joint, and I never really cared. But a lot of people kept telling me, you know, pot makes things better. It makes music sound better. Food tastes better. You know what? I found a whole much more effective way of doing it. I didn't buy shit food or listen to crap music. You know? I sat there and I've hung out with hippies enough times to know that if you just don't eat the organic gluten-free peas pasta while listening to Fish, you'll still have a good time. So, the one thing I do, well, and here, just to keep going on that one, I figure the only people that can really suffer through that shit are either stoners or pregnant women, because they will eat fucking anything. But in any event, so the one thing I do like about stoners, though, is when they actually get really pissed off with things and they decide to protest, you know, fuck this or fuck that. And so I'm hanging out with my buddy Tyree, and I was told before, I actually have to preface this, Tyree is black, okay? Apparently the name Tyree wasn't exactly black friendly, but Tyree's black. And we're sitting there watching TV, he's smoking the joint, and I'm sitting there trying to forget what my wife just told me. And all of a sudden the news report comes on talking about there's a KKK rally coming up. And so instantly Tyree has to get pissed off. He's like, these motherfuckers, you know, you sit there and you're burning crosses on our lawn, like what, only Jesus can fuck white women? And he just kept bitching about this stuff. And so then, you know, a few hours later he's trying to come up with what he's going to do at this rally. He's going to, you know, end racism and equal rights for gays and lesbians and free healthcare for all. So we finally show up for this rally at 1, started at 10, and fuck, he's a stoner. But he ends up going and, you know, the crowd's leaving already. So he's pissed off. He had this 4-hour speech. So he wants to get the guy's attention. So he grabs the first thing he could find and just chucks it at the fucker. And what I can only assume is that he really wanted that Klan member to have that bag of Skittles. But hey, man, pounds the Klan member with it, and now the Klan member turns around, he's yelling, and his buddies are dragging him away, because, you know, the Klan is really a peaceful bunch. But, so, drags the guy away, and Tyree yells out from nowhere, he's like, taste the rainbow, bitch! To this day, I think that is the best demand for racial equality that I can think of. And I've always kind of given it up to him for suppressing that, you know, be a pussy instinct that we all have. So, not much of an ending to the story, but we consider it a victory for human rights. You know, stoners 1, racist 0. But going back to that Rudner book, it suggested that you start with what you know. And the first thing I can tell you that I know is that teenage girls dress like whores nowadays. And yeah, I know every comic has talked about this at some point, but that shit pisses me off because it confuses me when I'm sitting there looking for a whore. Because I'll be going around, I got 20 bucks in hand, my pants unzipped, and I go up to the gal and she asks me if I got gum or if I like Justin Bieber. And I'm like, okay, you know. It basically, you can tell that it's not a whore when they start talking about the beat. Because, you know, hookers are classic. So they're not going to sit there and dig that. But I'm really wondering with these teenage girls, basically, where the fuck they were when I was growing up. Because when I grew up, there was fucking AIDS everywhere. You couldn't even like sit down on a toilet and take a crap without AIDS coming up your ass. So now these girls are sitting there just giving it away for whatever reason. And the worst part about it is that they actually have sat there and now they will do anal sex instead of regular sex just because they want to keep their virginity. And I'm like, what the fuck? I would have totally taken that offer. You know, I would have been sitting there like, yeah, no, I know you want to keep that for someone special, you know, for the right guy. And yeah, but your ass has got to be getting lonely, and I'm right there for it. But yeah, I mean, just who actually rationalizes that, you know, you go with anal sex to keep your modesty? But, you know, that's teenagers. Also, in going from what you know, sometimes it sucks to be a big man. I'm just going to say this right now. There are no big bullies anymore. We are all gentle giants. And I will actually challenge the audience here to find, in their mind here, just think of the biggest guy you know and let me know if he's an asshole. Anyone? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, we're all pretty much just these nice guys. And so, it's one of these that the only mean people I find are these like scrawny little bitches or these, you know, GQ douchebags. And it's kind of like the harder my dick gets for you, the more I'm going to have a headache from talking to you. But, in dealing with them, you know, I try not to focus on them too much because it's kind of like going to the pond or the park and sitting next to the only pile of dog shit instead of the pond. It's kind of your own fault at that point. But so, you know, it's one of these. I figure that if you just sent them through some hooker training, you know, pretend to like me while you're fucking with me, I'll at least get along with them better. But it never happens. But anyway, here, just because I think I got the light. Yeah. I actually got one big guy story, and this is actually a true story here that you guys might enjoy. Anyone remember the movie Varsity Blues and Billy Bob from that? Really big fucker, you know, slobbering ball of fat. Well, anyway, he went and got that bypass surgery. Turns all fat guys into basically deflated balloons. And he was really losing a lot of weight. And he went on this little indie show with my buddy, and he was telling him about, you know, how you really have a lot of loose skin. And I just mean all over loose skin. And so he was on this flight going from Houston to LA, and had to go into the bathroom. And he was happy as shit because he could finally turn around in that thing. You know, he used to be a big guy, but... so anyway, he goes and he takes his crap, and so he takes his crap, and he tries to be a nice guy. He does a little courtesy flush, and instantly his tainted balls got sucked down the high pressure valve. True story, I'm not joking, you guys. Gets sucked down this valve. So this is now the beginning of the longest 10 seconds of this man's life, because this, like, basically the toilet sits there and has a little flap that tries to keep the shit from the rest of the plane. So now he's getting like basically the most violent mechanical blowjob he's ever gotten while the little flap is trying to cup his balls. And this entire time it's slapping shut. So basically he was able to pry his taint away from this shit just in time to throw up from the pain. And the reason I tell you guys this story, aside from being that it sucks to be a big man, is because he had one of the greatest lines I ever heard. And that was, "That taint right." Thank you for the time.
Super Dave, everyone.